so now we will begin our next speech from Locky from HBU. And the topic is Timeskipping 5 years ahead, what challenges for English for academic purpose faced in Hong Kong. Let's welcome.
Thank you. Hello. Hi everybody, welcome to my talk. And last minute work, sorry I forgot my universities and center's logo, so it doesn't fit very well, it's on me, sorry about that. But yeah, thank you very much for coming, and yeah, we are jumping ahead, we're time skipping ahead five years to see what kind of things will happen to us EAP teachers. I assume everybody here is an EAP teacher, right? Otherwise you won't be here. And I suppose everybody here are teaching in Hong Kong, is teaching in Hong Kong, otherwise you won't be here. So then you're right, okay, you should be in the right classroom. Okay. Technical issue, small technical issue, not moving. I'm just going to use the mouse for now, or the keyboard for now. And great. Okay, so here's the agenda. Not too many. First, we'll talk about the student enrollment trends over the years in Hong Kong, how AI is affecting jobs. Actually, I also left out, affecting jobs and education. So I'll put that back in later on. Next one, macro challenges facing EAP, followed by micro challenges in English proficiency. Then finally, the conclusion of what could look like 5 years from now. All right, so start from the student enrollment trends over the years. First, I dug up the data from the UGC website, and here you can see student enrollment headcount for Hong Kong, right, from 2009 to 2023. And as you can see in the table there, all the numbers tabulated. The ones in yellows are actually my projection based on a logarithmic regression line, if you know that. But yeah, basically, as you can see, according to the projection, which is very high accuracy at 0.92, our square value, we are looking at Hong Kong increasing the number of headcounts per year by about, that's just an average, right? By about 700 students per year. That's for the entire Hong Kong. And as you can see, these are the values in focus, the projection values in focus. And what does that translate to for each of our universities? So here I did the one for Hong Kong U first, because that's where I come from. And as you can see, the accuracy is still very, very high. It's 0.95 or 0.9441 R square, very, very accurate. And we're looking at Hong Kong U having about 200 students increment per year. Of course, the one that, as you can see, is a decrease of 562, that one, because we still don't have the value for this year, but we'll see. Then the trend doesn't really change. The trend is still very accurate. It's still uptrending for Hong Kong U. All right. What about the other universities? Now, I haven't done the projection, 5-year projection for the other universities. Sorry, my a bit biased. But as you can see, basically you can see the trends is roughly the same, right? City U, all right, we are statistically is going lower, but if you look at the green line, it's still trending up. Then there is HKBU, all right, trending up. All right, and that basically all these student headcounts includes undergrads and postgrad and research graduates. That includes everybody else, everybody. Okay, so going up. Lingnan, LU, that's going up as well. And CUHK, all right, up to 21,000 already. You can see the numbers. EDUHK, all right. A bit of a fluctuation, but it's still going really high, especially from 2022 to 2023. It added about 900 students in just 1 year. All right, and of course, where we are here, Hong Kong Poly U. All right, steady trend, trending up slightly, all right, but you can still see increments of student intake. All right, this is important to know. All right. And finally, UST, very, very good looking graph, right, as you can see here, adding about 100 to 200 to 300 students per year, total headcount wise, and also a very, very accurate trend line there as well. Right. I'm throwing you all of that data. I'm not going to explain what it means yet, okay? And I'm going to give you a bit more, so-called affecting factors before I round it up and say what they are. But just bear with me. I'm just giving you all the findings I collected. So next part is how AI is affecting jobs. Forgot the and education part. So top part there, you can see that's the Hong Kong U School of Computing and Data Science. It's a new school we actually just created because of, you know what, AI, right? Down there, that is the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and they also have their own Department of Computer Science and Engineering. I suppose all the other universities also have their own programs and degrees, new degrees related to AI, right? That's because that's why we're here. That's why we have this conference, right? Or the summit, right? So we know how important AI is. However, if you look further away from Hong Kong, for example, this is the Straits Times. Microsoft laid off its software engineers hardest with AI costs on the rise. Screenshot the whole not the whole, but half of it, the article. I want to draw your attention to a few of these paragraphs. In Washington, Microsoft's home state, software engineering was by far the largest single job category received layoff notices, making up more than 40% of the roughly 2,000 positions cuts, according to the state documents reviewed by Bloomberg. Next, right at the bottom, at Microsoft, as much as 30% of some project codes is now written by AI. The chief executive said that in April. All right, several tech companies are reshaping their workforces as they focus on AI. All right, again, I'm not saying what I want to say. I'm just going to give you all these information. Next, all right, this is NDTV education. Computer science among majors with highest unemployment in US. Another paragraph, another chunk. I'm giving you some focused paragraphs here. Computer science has been one of the most popular college majors in recent years. And then something I can't see. Students choose it believing it offers strong job prospects and high salaries. However, recent data reveals a different story in the United States. Many graduates are struggling to find jobs in the field. Next, according to a report by Newsweek, based on data from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, computer science ranks 7th among undergraduates major with the highest unemployment rate, currently at 6.1%. This places it just behind other majors like physics, 7.8, and anthropology, 9.4. Last paragraph here. The report also noted that the unemployment among recent graduates more broadly is increasing, with the number of Gen Z households receiving unemployment benefits rising by 32% year over year as of February. Okay. And after reading all that, obviously I have to consult some of the experts. Now, I have a degree in computer science because I did my bachelor degree in 2004. Albert Ming was one of my dear friends and ex-classmate. And he's now working for PCCW Solutions. So I text him. Would you say fresh grad market now is better or worse compared to our time? Our time meaning the dot-com, when the dot-com exploded, 2004, the year I graduated from computer science. And he said, worse. Many companies post job ads that requires two year or more experience. They don't want to train fresh graduates. Most of the time, fresh grads left after 2 to 3 years for better salaries. Okay, that's talking about from the Hong Kong perspective. Right, so let that sink in a bit. Right, coming back to the education part, we all know this news, right? RTHK, universities fully prepare for funding cuts. That was February, right? We all know about this. So here's the extract from that. This follows Financial Secretary Paul Chan's announcement in his budget speech that publicly financed universities will see funding slashed by 2%. The reduction will be compounded over 3 years. And so that means it results in saving of 2.8 billion between these years. And then, of course, the UGC also reviewed in a subsequent statement that the university needs to return 4 billion from their general department reserve fund to the government in a one-off special arrangement. We all know that, right? So that's just a recap. And before that, this is from South China Morning Post. We got the title there. I forgot to highlight. Language skills shouldn't be compulsory for university admission in Hong Kong, says the group of principals. So, a group of secondary school heads in Hong Kong has called on the government to drop the language requirement for university admission to avoid placing too much focus on the skills as authorities seek to promote institutions specializing in vocational training. Next, the Hong Kong Association of the Heads of Secondary Schools on Thursday suggested only the total grade points in the best 5 subjects be counted instead of the current grades for both Chinese and English languages. All right, again, so we're seeing a lot of different things happening, or somebody suggesting something should happen. Right, and then this is a letter that actually written by our CAES colleague, by the way, Alison Ng, and she wrote to South China Morning Post, responding to that news, saying that, however, I have observed that there are more students struggling to speak English in complete sentences and write error-free complex clauses, not to mention their limited vocabulary and weak listening skills. I think a lot of us have experienced the same thing, right? Okay. And she's saying this because she does not agree with the association, the head of secondary school heads, their point. Okay. And so finally, we come back to the artificial intelligence, but not any artificial intelligence, but we're looking at AGI. So I think some of us might have heard what AGI is. We definitely know what AI is, but what is AGI? So artificial general intelligence, AGI, refers to the hypothetical intelligence of a machine that possesses the ability to understand or learn any intellectual task that a human being can. It is a type of artificial intelligence that aims to mimic the cognitive ability of the human brain by Google Cloud here. And then I'm not going to read out everything, but basically what AGI can do is that it possesses certain key traits and generalized ability and common sense knowledge. So it can do all of that, which is something we are heading towards right now. So I will show a quick video clip of Professor Stephen Hawking.
Let's talk about artificial intelligence. In a recent op-ed column, you said, and I quote, "Success in creating artificial intelligence would be the biggest event in human history. Unfortunately, it might also be the last." Are you saying that robots are going to destroy humanity? And is that a scientific argument or the pitch for an amazing movie?
Artificial intelligence could be a real danger in the not-too-distant future. It could design improvements to itself and outsmart us all.
I know you're trying to get people to be cautious there, but why should I not be excited about fighting a robot?
You would lose.
Well, okay, to start, we don't know that, do we? We don't know that for sure, because what could a robot do that I couldn't then fight back with by simply just unplugging him, right?
There's a story that scientists built an intelligent computer. The first question they asked it was, "Is there a God?" The computer replied, "There is now," and a bolt of lightning struck the plug, so it couldn't be turned off.
Holy shit, that's the most terrifying story I've ever heard.
Yes.
Hold on.
Okay, so that sums up what AGI kind of is. All right. And why are we talking about that? All of these things. Why are we talking about all of these things? Well, AIinVest has actually done some research on kind of projecting the when AGI will arrive in front of us. So first, they obviously went back to the GPT and the general AI and then GPT-4. That already happened, right? And if you want to look at the kind of the projection, if the forecast now well-tuned, it's going to arrive somewhere in 2030. If it's forecast errors continues, then maybe very soon, 2027, we might be seeing the first version of AGI. When, as you heard from Professor Stephen Hawking, it's some program that can design itself, improve itself, or without us giving any prompts or whatever. Okay, so here is my kind of roundup or summary of the macro challenges that we're facing EAP. First of all, we've got the gradual increase in the overall student intake. All right, that's in Hong Kong. Students with bachelor degree in AI-related degrees, but they are unemployed. We have reduction of UGC funding. We have potential risks, like a group of powerful people say they want to remove English language requirements and AGI, potentially. We have rapidly improving AI technology, of course the AGI part. So these are the things that we are facing and will probably be facing in the next 5 years, according to data and research and predictions, projections, and all that. So possible solutions I can maybe think of, right? Okay, hire more EAP teachers, please. More efficient assessments to reduce teaching workload. That definitely can help the first point. Okay, students with bachelor degree in AI but unemployed. What can we do about that? We can maybe teach students practical and transferable workplace communication skills. Exactly what ESP is doing, what Mabel is doing, right? Okay, has been doing for a long time. Handling clients, language in meetings, email etiquettes, because they're not going to get a job in AI or anything related to that. They need the skills for other kinds of jobs as well. Okay, reduction of UGC funding, I cannot do anything about that other than finding ways to minimize the administrative workload and consider zero budget research or / cross-institution collaborations in that sense. You don't have any funding, then you got to still do something, right? All right, potential risk. Maybe create a pre-spawns team to discuss potential solutions. Not a response team, but a pre-spawns team. For example, I saw the AI coming back in 2017 when I was doing my PhD, and at that moment I felt it was already very scary. But you people are reactional, so you only see the things happening, then you react, and that probably might be too late if you think about that. What is coming. Last one, for most of us EAP teachers, asking you to try out every single app is very difficult, very demanding. So at least try to keep up with the news. That would be pretty good already. Understand the benefits and risks of new tools. So these are the possible solutions for macro problems. But how about the micro ones that are in classrooms? So micro challenges. You attended Professor Rodney Jones' one. We have the exact same references. I did not add it after his talk. We had the exact same references. But basically, because he talked about it already, I'm not going to expand. It's just not positive. The result is that there is a tendency of eroding critical thinking skills, right, with the more AI you use. This is Times magazine interviewing the researchers for this paper. Okay? So thanks to him, I don't have to elaborate on that one. Micro challenges, lowering English proficiency. We see that. Decreasing learning motivation and purposes. Everybody is suffering from this as well. Reducing in-class communication in English. Because of that, decreasing learning motivation. And lastly, increasing dependence on Gen AI technology. And this is a cycle. It's a vicious cycle. I have a few possible solutions. I'm not sure whether it will work or not. But anyway, if you want to tackle the lowering proficiency of English, definitely enhance support systems for non-EMI students, according to research 10 years ago, and also Poon and Jin, 4 years ago. That's still very important. Also create shared timeless learning resources like Purdue OWL. Everybody knows Purdue OWL. We share that because it's timeless. It's always going to be useful any years. YouTube channels, even MOOC, can promote self-learning and basic academic English. To tackle the decreasing learning motivations, we talked about integrating AI literacy into the curriculum already. A lot of us have talked about that. But I want to emphasize on the part that you want to show students the correct ways to critically use these new AI tools for easier and more effective learning. Because they are not motivated, right? Learning is hard. We all know that. So we have to make it more effective and more efficient for them so they can pick out these skills much more easily. Right? And then create purposeful activities and achievable tasks with Gen AI. You still have to use Gen AI anyway, right? So for example, you can ask them to choose from a list of given resources, and use Notebook LM to generate a podcast for listening practices. So we can go into these all multimodal learning And it's very low budget, very low, very little demand for the teacher as well. Students can do it, teachers can do it. It's very easy, and it actually adds more layer to the learning part. Next one, reducing in-class communication in English. This is the motivation part, very, very difficult. So you got to look at what young people like to do. You want to create fun and challenging in-class tasks or games to make students want to speak English and not just need to. They want to, not need to. For example, you can do something like this. In groups, create dialogues for a chill podcast, similar to the Notebook LM, but this time you have a chill podcast on the topic of X, and then use Google AI Studio to generate the podcast. Now that's because Notebook LM does not let you intervene with what they say, but Google AI Studio can, and they are both free apps. So students can put in the dialogues they want the students to, they want the podcast, the host to say. They can make them say anything, and it's fun, right? So you have to make fun things so that they want to do these activities, and in the process they learn. Finally, the increasing dependence on Gen AI. Now, we cannot stop students using Gen AI, so we have to show them how to use Gen AI as learning and feedback partner. Right? A lot of you have already mentioned that. For example, you give them a prompt that says, what is the correct way to use which clause? Question mark. Ask AI to create an exercise with the answers, but only show the answers when told. So that the students get the questions, get to do the exercise, and then students say, I'm done. I enter tell the AI, now you can show me the answers, and then it will show you the answers. Not only that, you want the AI to rate the accuracy of these answers that the AI generated out of 100%. So you want to make sure that the AI knows and double checks the accuracy part because of hallucination. Okay, so something like that might actually improve students' motivation that they want to learn and somewhat alleviate the vicious cycle here. Okay, so conclusion, time skipping 5 years ahead. What can we do? Right? Summary is student enrollment at university is likely to increase by a total of 4,000 according to my projection. That's a 4,000 across 5 years. So we need visionary leadership, for sure. Computing and AI-related jobs for undergraduates will continue to drop. So they're going to graduate with a degree and they're not going to get hired. Therefore, EAP needs to be more ESP and more transferable for the future goods of these students. I mean, yes, they still need EAP to do their assignments, but for the future, once they graduate, what do they have? What do they have? They need more ESP stuff. Right? We cannot stop students using AI, so adapting to AI advancement is crucial for any EAP programs, but focusing on the efficiency and how to make learning easier for them, so it kind of make them want to learn more, because learning is always difficult. Creativity is needed to motivate students in the age of AI. For example, what kind of creativity? Okay, now self-promotion, shameless self-promotion here. I did a presentation at PolyU some months ago. If you haven't watched it, go watch it because I have a lot of messages for the teachers. Obviously, something that I did not cover today had been covered in that presentation. So take a snapshot of the QR code. But I want to show you one example of what I mean by a fun and creative activity. Okay, so that will be this baby here. It's going to take you 3 minutes of attention.
Welcome back to the original Talking Baby podcast. In studio with me, as usual, is the only person I know whose hands are feet. Thanks for being here again. How was your week?
Very busy. I'm exhausted.
Oh, were you not able to get your usual 18 hours of sleep in per day?
Oh, no, I was. That's non-negotiable. But in my very few waking hours, I've been working non-stop on an assignment the two larger people we live with gave me. It's this new chew toy, and dude, I've barely made a dent in it.
That sounds very stressful. And I'm not saying that sarcastically, because I actually have no idea what it feels like to have to do anything, really, because the two larger people we live with do pretty much everything for me, including stuff like, dude, this morning I blew out a hot mud sundae into my pants and it was everywhere, even all up in my front junk. And they just cleaned it up without complaining while I screamed at them for not doing it fast enough.
Yeah, sometimes you're not like the most gentle communicator.
Well, they should do it faster. But anyway, while they were scrubbing the butt chocolate off of that little stretch between my coin purse and my Winnie the Pooh, I started thinking to myself, why are these people doing this? Like, I've never done it for them, and nor would I if they asked me to. Like, I honestly don't even really know who these people are. Do you? Like, how do we even know them?
Well, I know them because they're my best friends and I love them more than anything in the world.
That's actually very sweet, but like...
Well, I also actually really love smelling pee, especially pee that I've never smelled before. That's actually probably the thing I love the most in the world, getting my nozzle all up in a fresh puddle at stranger piss. But I love them in close second.
Yeah, that's a significantly less sweet statement. But anyway, what I'm trying to understand is why are these people being so nice to me? Like, how did I even meet them? We're so different. How did you meet them?
I don't remember meeting them per se. My guess is I must have smelled their pee, and then they smelled my pee, and then we were all like, ooh, that's some good smelling pee. Let's move in together.
That seems like an odd criteria for choosing a roommate. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that that's not how I met them.
Yeah, I wasn't there when you met, but you must have really hit it off because you were definitely the last one that joined the friend group. But when you joined, they immediately started spending all of their time with you.
Probably because I'm a super fun person to be around.
I don't know that that's necessarily how I would describe you.
What do you mean? How would you describe me?
No, I mean, you're fun, like 2% of the time, but for the most part, you're needy, high maintenance, very self-involved, narcissistic.
Well, in my defense, I'm only narcissistic because I'm more important than everyone else. But wait, if I'm not super fun to be around, why would they scrub the peanut butter sauerkraut off my poop chute 4 times a day?
Well, because they love you.
That sounds nice. I just don't really understand what it means.
It's that feeling you get when you get really close to strong smelling urine from an unknown source, and you just stick your nose into it and take a deep whiff of that tangy, acidic scent.
I really have to start learning stuff from other people.
Right, okay, so, yeah, okay, so that's the end of my presentation, basically. Yeah, that's what I mean by, making it creative and fun for your students. Obviously, not on the topic of, smelling people's pee, urine, but make it EAP. That could do. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any questions? Do you have some questions? No. No. Okay. I have a question. May I? I will take this chance. And very inspiring sharing. And so I want to know. Could you share your experience of using AI in your teaching, and if you meet some difficulties,